Good morning, everybody. It's Kathy Reuter. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week and are really enjoying this group. I'm really enjoying working with you guys. You guys are an incredible group of people, and I'm just excited to make small changes over time with you guys so that you can live a happier and more fulfilling and more positive life because of the changes that we're going to be tweaking over time in your mind. So today, we're going to be talking about programming your mind for success and turning that fear into failure. You know, I went to a Catholic school my whole life, and I remember I was in 6th grade, and I had my uniform, my green plaid uniform, the skirt, had to be down to the knee, otherwise you'd get in trouble and get written up. Had my white button-down collared shirt on, with my forest green vest, looking all dorky. And I was sitting in my 6th grade class with 19 other kids at a small desk, all in rows. And we had the big blackboard in the front of the classroom. And I had this teacher, and I'm going to call her Mrs. C for the sake of it. And she would just stand up there in front of the classes, and she had the biggest chest. She'd sit there and she'd literally rest her hands on it as she taught. And she'd just pace back and forth from left to right in front of the classroom with this puss on her face. Never smiled, really never said anything kind. Totally, you could tell that she really didn't like teaching. She probably should have never been a teacher. And she'd walk back and forth in front of all of us kids with this just angry look on her face. A very intimidating look, as if she was on this power trip and she was controlling. And like I said, you could tell she just didn't like her job. And we'd sit there in class, specifically math, and she'd ask for volunteers, and she'd ask for people to come up to the board to do math problems. And as soon as she says, okay, I need to pick 5 volunteers to come up to the classroom to do these problems, she'd put these mathematical equations written on the board, and then she'd call up students, and she'd want you to complete the math in front of all the other kids. Now, math was hard for me. Math was never my strength. It was never something that came easy to me. And so every time that she would ask this question, I'd look down at my desk like this. I'd start writing. Don't make eye contact. Please don't call on me. Don't call on me. Don't pick me. Don't pick me. Please don't pick me. Please, no, God, no. Please don't pick me. I'm so bad at math. Don't. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Please don't pick me. And I would always get picked. And then I'd have to stand up. And I'd have to walk through all these desks and all these kids looking at me to go complete this math problem that I knew I really didn't know, because math was a little bit harder for me than other areas that I was good at. And I get up, and you know what it's like when you get called on, right? Can you guys think back to school? And my face is beet red like a tomato. I can feel it's like a flame coming up my neck as I'm walking up to the front of the room. And I go up there to complete it, and I'm at the blackboard, and I have my piece of chalk in my hand, and I'm just sitting there looking at it, and I'm trying my best, but I just feel like I'm frozen in my tracks right now, because I just have all this fear inside of me that, number 1, this teacher's so mean. Number 2, I don't really know how to do math. I'm really not good at it. And number 3, now I have a class of kids sitting there staring at me, watching me to do this math problem. What's going to happen when I do this math problem and I get it wrong? How many kids are going to make fun of me? What is this teacher going to even say? So I tried my best, and I did it, scribbled down some things, and I walked back to my desk. And at the end of that lesson, I remember there were kids who raised their hand, and they didn't understand the math concept that she was teaching. And she said, "What are you kids, stupid?" She threw her book down on the desk. "What is the matter with you guys? How could you not know this? What are you, stupid?" And no one, except for one person, out of those 5 math problems got it right. And I just had all this fear every time I was around her because of things like that. And then I ended up giving myself a total mental block with math. I had to have my dad tutor me and work with me every single night. I had to go on 3 years later and have a math tutor. And it really just prevented me from wanting to raise my hand and participate in classes ever going forward because I was scared of that. And I had that fear. And it wasn't until I got into high school, so this was like 5 years later, where I had the best teacher, I'm going to call him Mr. A, and he just instilled belief in me and hope and confidence. And he assured me that you can do it. He would say to me, "You can do this, Kathy. I'm going to show you. We're going to go slow. We're going to take it bit by bit." And a combination of having my father and tutoring and then having a great teacher who actually believed in me, who wanted to helped me change my mind in terms of math. And my grades started to go up. It took a long time. Programming your mind for success, turning that fear into fuel. The sky just didn't open up one day and say, "There we go, Kathy. You are totally changed now. You are no longer going to have fear. You are no longer not going to care what other people think about you. And poof, you're totally better." It was small needle point changes that led up to that. And specifically in this area now that I teach with mindset over the past over 3 years, small needle point moves at a time that got me to change my mind, that programmed my mind to now have success. And so I know I posted a couple activities yesterday and the day before, and I understand why a lot of people didn't do it, because I used to be that way. And for most of you, the reason why you didn't want to complete it and participate was it's simply just fear. And I know, because I had that fear too for a long time. Maybe you want to just keep your blinders on to the areas in your life that you know you need to improve. Maybe you'd rather just kind of keep your blinders on and not even call attention to it, and you don't even want to recognize it, because then you feel like it's going to make you look like you're flawed or there's something wrong. I know that feeling. Maybe for some of you it was just a lack of motivation. You were just couldn't be bothered, just didn't really feel like doing it, just couldn't get motivated to do it, so you didn't do it. But no matter what your decision was, your decision started all up here. All up here in your mind is where your decision started. Little voices started to come into your head as soon as you saw that activity, as soon as you heard me say in the video that you need to share. Now, for those of you who did share, you guys were thinking something totally different. You were thinking excitement, possibly. What am I going to gain from this if I share and be honest and I just say it and put it out there? How is this going to help me become better? How is this going to change me? I'm in this group for a reason. Let's do this. I want to change. Maybe some of you who did it just did it because you felt awkward. You looked and saw how many people are in the group and saw that there was hardly anyone who was sharing. So now you're like, "Oh, great, no one's participating, no one's sharing. Of course, I have to be the one that shares." So whatever your decision was, whether you chose to share or not, it's the power of your mind that controls it all. And you miss out on incredible opportunities in life when you let those little voices in your head take over. things such as, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't have time. I can't be bothered. I'll just do that tomorrow. And then you never do it because then you totally forget and it's the next day and life gets crazy. And these thoughts that you start to play in your mind become your reality. But I want you guys to go deeper and I want you guys to think deeper because I remember a while ago at the start of my journey now as an entrepreneur, I read a book, and the author was Michael Gerber, was his name. And in the book, he says, and this is something that really stuck with me, and this is why I'm sharing it with you guys. In the book, he says, imagine you walk into a room, and in this room are all your friends and family, all the closest people to you, who you love and care about the most. And you walk into this room, and everybody's sitting down. And you walk right down the middle aisle and you see that there's a box. And you walk past all of your friends and family and you go to this box and you look in. And in that box is you. What are the kinds of things that you want people to be saying about you, about the kind of life that you lived, about the kind of person who you were, and the kind of things that you achieved? That really stuck with me. What kind of a legacy do you want to leave for your family, for your children? Because your destiny is determined all by the choices you make. So you need to focus well. So first, you have to figure out exactly what brings you joy and happiness. What makes you feel good? What's something that you're excited to do? And this is going to be part of our activity for today. Are you doing that right now? For a long time, I was doing something that I didn't truly love. I was a teacher for 10 years. I had my master's degree. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was not my passion. I never woke up excited to do it. I always felt like something else would have been a better calling for me, and I finally found it. But that wasn't it. It was rewarding, and I loved the children. But I did not love what I was doing. I did not want to see myself doing that until I retired at the age of 60 or 65. So are you doing that thing that makes you happy and brings you joy right now? What are the things that you want to achieve, and why does it really matter to you? And you can write these questions down, guys, and start to journal about them. Really get your brain, just let your brain and your mind wander. Who is the type of person that you have to become to make those things happen? And then you need to start to program your mind to make it happen. And you're not going to look up and the sky is going to open one day and the angels are going to come down and say, poof, hallelujah, you are totally different now. Not a care in the world. Hell no. Wish it worked like that, but it doesn't. It's going to be those small needle point moves. One decision, one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, compounded over time so that you can see change. That is how you will go on to be happier, to feel more fulfilled, to feel more confident, to feel like you're living life alive and just with pure joy and satisfaction. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for our activity later on. Bye, guys.